Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to evaluate drugs in humans. We will discuss in detail about clinical trials in humans and their different types. A very small fraction of lead compounds reach to clinical trial. Why? Less than one third of drugs studied in humans survive clinical trials and reach the marketplace. Why? There is a stringent guideline in the US on the clinical trial and strong ethical requirements. Clinical trials require multidisciplinary approach such as interdisciplinary personnel including basic scientists, clinical pharmacologists, clinical specialists, statisticians, and others. Now, what are the confounding factors in clinical trials? To need to understand this, we must know what are confounding factors. Confounders are variables that are correlate positive or negative with both dependent variable and the independent variable. For example, smoking is a known cause of cardiovascular disease, but coffee drinking could be common among the smokers. So, drinking coffee could also appear to be linked with cardiovascular. So you can understand that how confounder variables are correlate with dependent and independent variables. Confounding factors in clinical trials are three. Number one, the variable natural history of most disease, the presence of other disease and risk factor, subject and observer bias. When we talk about the variable nature history of most of the disease, we have to take the example of seasonal influenza or sudden appearance of the cancer. But then the question is that how to study in these cases? The answer is we'll need to design crossover studies. A crossover design is a repeated measurement design such that each experiment unit, such as patient, receive different treatment during the different time periods. So, example, the patient crossover from one treatment to another during the course of the trial. This is in contrast to the parallel design in which patients are randomized to a treatment and remain on that treatment throughout the duration of the trial. For example, the crossover study has been designed to see whether the flaxseed or wheat bran supplement can improve insulin resistance in obese glucose intolerant people or not. To understand a parallel study design, let's take an example of one research article that they tetrodotoxin for moderate to severe cancer pain and was found effective in moderate to severe treatment resistant cancer pain in large population of the patient. I'm showing giving you the link below. You can see and understand how parallel study will be designed. The next factor is the presence of the other disease and risk factors. Known and unknown disease and risk factors, including lifestyle of subjects, may influence the result of the clinical study. For example, risk factor for pre-diabetic and type 2 diabetes, such as weight, inactivity, family history. These are all risk factors. Race, black people, Hispanic people, American Indian, Asian Americans are at high risk. Age is also important factor, like your risk increases as you get older. This may be because of you tend to exercise less, loss of muscle mass, and gain weight as you age. But type 2 diabetes is also increasing among the children, adolescents, and young adults. Gestational diabetes, if we talk about, and if you develop gestational diabetes when you are pregnant, your risk of developing pre-diabetic and type 2 diabetic later on is increasing. High blood pressure is also over 140/20 millimeter of mercury is linked to increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Abnormal cholesterol and high present triglycerides is also one of the risk factors. We need to develop the inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria of the person if we want to study the risk factors. The last one is the subject and observer bias and other factors. Most patients tend to respond in a positive way to any therapeutic intervention by interested, querying, or enthusiastic medical personnel. It is known as placebo response. The placebo response is usually quantized by administration of an inert material with exactly the same physical appearance or the consistency as the active dosage form. The magnitude of the response varies considerably from patient to patient and may also be influenced by the duration of study. Then we have the subject bias effect can be quantized or minimized either by single blind study or double blind study. In single blind study, the investigator know the placebo treatment and the intervention, but the patient don't know. Whereas in double blind study, the patient and investigator both do not know which treatment is a placebo and which one is the treatment. So here we can compare both of them. But these all information we will discuss not in this subject. We will discuss them later on in other subjects like clinical epidemiology, where we have a detailed discussion on these topics. So this is just an introduction how to design the clinical trial and how experimental research conducted on different kind of medicine. That's why, for example, when we talk about coronavirus, uh, there are a lot of evidence that chloroquine is effective. But the problem is that there is no either single blind or double blind study available to prove that claim. And these all studies need a lot of time to get the results, and then we can generalize them in the population. So in current scenario coronavirus, if for example you need to do some research, you must know some basics that how to design the research, how to conduct the clinical trials, and then how to interpret these results, which is very, very important, but we will discuss them in some other subjects later on. So thank you so much.